Hello, welcome to another video, guys. Today I'm here to share my December book haul. Oh my gosh, I was in for such a treat, honestly, because there was so many good deals on. I went to Asda, of course. They always got good deals on their books there. There was lots of sales online. Waterstones had their hardback half price books and discounts. The buy one get one half price for paperbacks. Oh my god, there was just so many things to get. So I'm gonna start with the comics that I got when I was up in Soho over some of the Christmas period. So there's a really cool comic book shop called Gosh, the Culture of Comics. I love that the paper bag has like a little comic print on it as well. And in here I got some volumes of Saga. So I haven't been in this world for quite some time, so I picked up volume 6, 7, 8 and 9. I don't know if it's still ongoing, if it's completed, what's happening, if they're on a hiatus, but these were the volumes that I saw there. I think they might have had 10, but I was like, this is expensive as it is. I don't want to push the boat out too far. So yeah, these are going to keep me occupied now for a little while, I would say. But if you don't know, Saga is about, it's kind of like a intergalactic sci-fi romance, a retelling of Romeo and Juliet, if you will. We've got these two star-crossed lovers who are sort of opposite ends of the war. Their races aren't supposed to be together, but they find a way, and they're basically on the run from all the forces that are trying to destroy them. So much fun, very graphic in terms of violence and very sexually explicit, so definitely go in being warned for mature audiences only. So I haven't read this one, but apparently it's satire and a conversation on grief and trauma, and I don't really like saying the title because I personally am not glad that my mum died. I'm devastated, but whoa, that got dark. We have Jeanette McCurdy's memoir, I'm Glad My Mum Died, and yeah, I was putting off getting this one for so long because I just thought it was going to be kind of triggering for me, and I wasn't kind of sure how she was going to go about it. But I've recently seen it in some wrap-ups and just general book reviews where people have said it's kind of satire, dark humour, but also, as I said earlier, talking about grief and what she was kind of put through as a child actress, her mother's involvement as like a mum-manager thing. And yeah, so I think I'm in a better understanding of how I can go into this memoir now, and hopefully I can get something from it. So for Christmas I got some money, a couple of books, a Waterstones voucher, and you'll see those, like what I spent those on, in a second. But the actual physical books that I got gifted for Christmas were the latest illustrated edition by Jim Kay of Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. I still haven't read these like specific editions yet, but they're so beautiful. I didn't know that another one was coming out this year, so when I saw it I asked my other half to get it for me. We always get these in Asda's because they're so much cheaper. But yeah, heavy, so I'm gonna put it down. My other half's brother got me this book. It's called Cat Lady, A Woman Always Lands on Her Feet by Dawn O'Porter. I had never heard of this before. They always get me books, cat related things, so I'll give it a go. It says, we've all known a cat lady and we've probably all judged her too, but behind the label, what if there's a story worth 9 lives? This one has some really beautiful like under jacket like designs and art, and on the inside it's got like little crabs as well. I absolutely love the pink and teal contrast in colour. So it says here, it's safer for Mia to play the part that people expect. She's a good wife to her husband Tristan, a doting stepmother. She slips on her suit for work each morning like a new skin. But beneath the surface there's another woman just clawing to get out. When a shocking event shatters the conventional life she's been so careful to build, Mia is faced with a choice. Does she live for a society that's all too quick to judge, or does she live for herself? And if that's as an independent woman with a cat, then the world better get ready. I think it's going to be like general fiction, comedy in a way, and it sounds like it can be quite empowering as well, so I'm looking forward to picking this up. Probably is more like a palette cleanser book for me. Okay, with my Waterstones voucher, I picked up, so unfortunately I got the half price deal for The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, but I also, this is such a short hardcover, isn't it? But I also went into Waterstones today and I found a different edition which I like much better. So this one I'm going to be returning when I'm back near my local Waterstones. It is beautiful, but the edition I found today by accident is so much prettier. I'm gonna compare them and talk a little bit about them probably in a second when I get the other one out, but this does have some beautiful artwork in it. It is stunning. I don't know if it's signed. I don't think it is. No, I don't think it's signed, but it is really pretty. I just I don't want to keep both of them, that's the thing. Okay, we'll come back to this in a second, but I also in that haul picked up Before the Coffee Gets Cold by Toshikazu Kawaguchi. This one I've been wanting to pick up for ages. I think there's like a little trio of books within this same kind of universe, and the concept is there's a little cafe where you can order a particular coffee and it has a time travel element, and the rules for that is you can go back into the past. I don't know if you can change anything or if you just can observe, but the rule is you have to be back before your coffee gets cold. I don't know what happens if you don't make it back in time. I don't know if it goes into that. It sounds like from the reviews I've seen to be quite a quaint, slow, gentle story, so I don't think there's any like major repercussions spoken about, at least in this one. But yeah, I think it's a selection of short stories centered around that theme, that idea, and I'm really looking forward to giving this a go. This is translated from Japanese by Jeffrey Trosler, so yeah, looking forward to finally trying that one. Spoilers for December's adult fairy loot book, so skip ahead a couple of minutes if you're not interested in seeing that. But my fairy loot came and oh my god, it's absolutely stunning. I unboxed it over on TikTok, which is Wolfhaustorm's Spammer Jam, if you want to see like the proper unveiling of it all. But I had never heard of this book. However, the cover and the synopsis absolutely have me sold. So this is Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies by Heather Fawcett, and if this isn't attractive enough, like with the sprayed end papers being all like mushroomy and such, just looking absolutely darling, wait till you see underneath. Oh my god, this definitely looks like a book I would gravitate towards, like just on the shelf like this, thinking it is probably an actual encyclopedia, but the fact that they've designed this cover as, I'm sure, like the book that's being focused about in the story is so freaking cool. Look at the colours, look at the designs. Oh, it's so beautiful. And then inside, by the way, the theme was fairy lore. Inside we have some beautiful art of our characters. That side as well. And of course it is signed by the author. Beautiful. So let me tell you a little bit of what this book is about. So the back of the fairy loot card just says, prepare to be enchanted by Emily Wilde, a professor who journeys to a small town in the far north to study fairy folklore and discovers dark fae magic, friendship and love in this heartwarming fantasy. How awesome does that sound? I think this is like right up my street. Absolutely sold. I hope I adore it. Just a quick intermission here. I think I have some ebooks to talk about, so I will include them in this section. I also recently got sent an e-arc from the author, and that book is, bear with me just one second, The Beckoning of the Gate by Benjamin J. Ryan, and it looks really cool. It looks like a straight up fantasy. I'm trying to see if I can find any kind of synopsis about it. The only life Santha Lathargian has ever known has become her prison. Vicious gossip is everywhere. Whispers of scandal have turned to accusations of murder, and fingers are pointing her way. Feeling powerless and alone, she yearns for escape. When Santha stumbles upon a small, rusted key in the forest near her home, it seems her silent pleas have been answered. Awakened by her touch, the key demands to be heard, and she is not the only one to heed its call. Thrust into a world only glimpsed in the stories of her childhood, of fairies and princes and eldritch magic, Santha sets out to unlock its secrets, but uncovering the truth at its own perils, and as the key's influence grows, she will be left with a choice, survival or sacrifice. But will it truly be hers to make? All the while in the north, something ancient stirs, a great power that could unravel the very threads of existence. It sounds so awesome, so thank you to the author. I'm really looking forward to getting my teeth sunk into that one. So I've also got a couple of books that I ordered. Can't remember what the website's name is off the top of my head. They've yet to arrive. Back to the physical haul. Today's trip to Waterstones. Here we go. Okay, as I say, I had a beautiful, how is it an anniversary edition already? I swear it only just came out, but I have another beautiful edition of Addie LaRue. So they're both kind of like the same strange square size. This is the size I think of when I think of The Hobbit. This is that sort of the Hobbit pocket edition, I think it's called. That comes to mind, and I kind of feel like only The Hobbit should look like this. I don't know why, it's just very classic to me. But yeah, this is my dilemma. I think I want this one more than anything else because it's stunning. It's got stenciled edges on the side, this awesome like white print. I feel like the colours, I don't know, the colours show up better on this, and it's like holographic or whatever. It doesn't look as effective on the white, but this is the undercover. Looks like that. And this is the undercover of the one that I originally got. So, but this doesn't have anything on the other side. This has the same pattern carried through. However, I love the motif here, but I think this is cooler. There's different end paper art. This one's more generic. This one's got our character art here. I think it's, yeah, it's different on the back. This one is the same kind of generic art. So I'm convincing myself, like I know I want to keep this one. And then let's see, this one has just got art like speckled throughout the whole thing. This one is just words, but this also has some really gorgeous colourful illustrations. So yeah, I think I'm keeping this one. Let me not accidentally put the wrong dust jacket back on. Addie LaRue, I'll tell you a little bit about the blurb for that one in just a second. It's annoying as well because the hardback, the regular edition, was half price. However, the special edition was full price, so a bit annoying. So keeping the receipt here, popping that in the edition I want to take back, putting that to the side. Let me read out what Addie LaRue is about. I feel like everybody has read this book at this point. Okay, France 1714. A desperate woman makes a desperate deal in the dark. A bargain to live forever, but be remembered by none. So begins the invisible life of Addie LaRue. Shadow muse to artists throughout history. Forgotten friend, confidant, and lover. Slipping away with the morning light. Addie passes through lives, desperate only to leave a trace of herself, until the day she walks back into a small bookshop in Manhattan and meets Henry, who remembers her. After 300 years, Addie's life is restarting. The devil never plays fair. As Henry and Addie's lives start to entwine, they must face the consequences of the decisions they've made and prices to be paid. The invisible life of Addie LaRue is a dazzling adventure across centuries and continents, across history and art, about a young woman learning how far she will go to leave her mark on the world. It sounds absolutely phenomenal and I feel like I'm going to love it, so let me keep the pretty edition. Or the prettier, they're both beautiful. These are the problems of a bookworm. Which edition do you get? Which edition do you keep? I can't buy all the editions because that's just a bit much for me. Okie dokie. What else do I have? Oh, this one looked absolutely amazing. I've seen this advertised on, not advertised, but talked about on like BookTok and Bookstagram. This is the Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches by Sangu Mandana. It sounds so cute. I'm loving seeing all these like light romance fantasy witchy vibes, but it's like contemporary. This is the one that's really stuck out to me because I think the other one's like what's it called, a hex for a kiss, and the hex thing, the hex, I can't remember what they're called. Those ones, I think they lean too romance heavy for me, where I'd much prefer the more fantasy element and just general living life rather than romance. And I think this one seems to have the balance that I'm more interested in. So let's see. Witch wanted. Live-in tutor wanted for 3 young witches. Must have nerves of steel. Previous teaching experience not necessary. Witchiness essential. It just sounds adorable. Okay, so, oh, and it's a perfect comfort read. I love that. As one of the few witches in Britain, Mika Moon has lived her life by 3 rules. Hide your magic, keep your head down, and stay away from other witches. Oh, no covens then. Okay. An orphan raised by strangers from a young age, Mika is good at being alone and she doesn't mind it, mostly. But then an unexpected message arrives, begging her to travel to the remote and mysterious Nowhere House. 3 young witches, and Mika jumps at the chance for a different life. Nowhere House is nothing like she expects, and she's quickly tangled up in the lives and secrets of its quirky, caring inhabitants. And with Jamie, the handsome, prickly librarian, who would do anything to protect his charges and who sees Mika's arrival as a threat. An irritatingly appealing threat. As Mika finds her feet, the thought of belonging somewhere starts to feel like a real possibility. But magic isn't the only danger in the world, and soon Mika will need to decide whether to risk everything to protect the found family she didn't know she was looking for. It sounds so sweet! And it's just this beautiful plain kind of maroony brown shade underneath. Oh, I'm looking forward to this one. Again, it feels like it could be a palette cleanser, but a delightful, just darling read, so I'm looking forward to this too. So I finally picked up an edition of Call Me By Your Name by Andre Aciman. Despite loving Timothée Chalamet, I've just been wanting an edition that doesn't show so much of the movie cover and so much people, like their actual faces. This one was beautiful to me. I love the yellow edges and the ribbon in there as well. So yeah, I've been wanting to watch the movie for the longest time, but I thought, no, I really want to read the book first. It's kind of out of my comfort zone in terms of genre, but I've heard so many people say how beautiful it is. I'm really looking forward to trying it myself. So this one says, during a restless summer on the Italian Riviera, a powerful romance blooms between 17-year-old Elio and his father's house guest Oliver. I just want to congratulate myself, because for the longest time, I remember when the Moomin film came out a couple of years ago now, I think it was like 2016, I could not say Riviera. I still stumble a little bit, but it's more fluent now. And I remember I was doing a review or something of the movie and I was struggling to get those words out. So now the fact that I didn't stumble too much on that sentence has made me really proud. I've come a long way. Anyway, I digress. Back to the synopsis. Unrelenting currents of obsession and fear, fascination and desire threaten to overwhelm the lovers who at first feign indifference to the charge between them. What grows from the depths of their souls is a romance of scarcely 6 weeks' duration and an experience that marks them for a lifetime. For what the two discover on the Riviera and during a sultry evening in Rome is the one thing they both already fear they may never truly find again: total intimacy. This timeless love story, which inspired an unforgettable film, is now published in hardback for the first time. Amazing! So yeah, I'm really looking forward to giving this a go. I'm hoping I love it just as much as everybody else has. Okay, we're down to the last 2 books of this haul now. I finally picked up a copy of The Atlas 6 by Olivier Blake. So the other day when I went in and it turned out to be like hardback half price, and that I was low-key looking for this book in hardback, couldn't find it, so I finally was like, I'm gonna ask them as soon as I go in the shop, because I just couldn't find it anywhere, right? And he was so specific and so giddy. He was like, it's upstairs on the sci-fi table on the left hand side, there's only 3 copies, and boy was he right. I was really hoping it was going to be hardback though, so I'm a little bit annoyed that I've got hardback for the Paradox and paperback for the Atlas 6, but we keep it moving. So as I mentioned briefly when I was talking about the Paradox, or the Paradox 6, something, whatever it's called, the Atlas Paradox, I talked about it in a vlog, I believe, which I'll link in the description somewhere on the screen or whatever if you'd like to watch it. Don't know what that was. Iron powers. Anyway, oh my god, I'm getting too chaotic. It's the coffee. I shouldn't be drinking it at, what's the time? 5:06. No, 6:05. 6:05, not that you can. Anyway, okay, as I mentioned in that vlog, I hadn't really had any interest in picking it up for a while, but now I've heard so much sort of discourse about it. I think it's a duology, it's dark academia, but I've heard so many mixed things. Some people love it, some people are like, it's more dark academia vibes without being dark academia, like it's not, I've heard it's not intelligent, it's kind of literally just vibey. So I mean, I feel like I would love dark academia, but I also feel like I'd struggle to appreciate the actual academia side, because I feel like it could get really, really smart, right? So that's put me off a little bit, and I try not to let that put me off, just because I'm like, I'm not intelligent enough, but I try not to let that phase me, right? But the fact that this is said it's kind of more vibey than the actual thing might be a better way for me to kind of dip my toes into that genre. So yeah, stay with me on this journey. I think it might work in my favour for the type of reader I am. We shall have to see. So if you don't know what the Atlas 6 is about, it is about 6 extraordinary magicians, 5 chances to win one secret society. Once a decade, the world's best magicians are invited to join the elite Alexandrian society. Its members enjoy a lifetime of power and access to ancient secrets. But only 5 places are offered, so after recruitment by the mysterious Atlas Blakely, the candidates must complete a rigorous year of arcane study. Libby Rhodes and Nika de Verona are inseparable enemies and cosmetologists who can control matter with their minds. Parisa Kamali is a telepath, Raina Mori understands the flow of life itself, and Callum Nova can manipulate desires. Finally, there's Tristan Kane. Oh, another Tristan. There's a witchy book with a Tristan that I just talked about, isn't there? Whose powers mystify even himself. The rivals must survive their trials, and if they can prove themselves, they will. Most of them. This sounds good. Like, will they get murdered if they don't oh, there's art in here. There's an illustration. I didn't know that. Okay, that's really cool. Okay, maybe I'm not too upset that I got a paperback then. Okay, so honestly, reading that fully for the first time, the synopsis, it's kind of appealing to me. I didn't know it's going to be heavy on the magician's front. That's the one thing. I thought it was just academia vibes. I didn't realise how much like magic would be in there, so I'm really hoping that delivers. And the very last book for this haul is a random one. I just saw it next to the Atlas 6 and I thought, oh, this sounds pretty interesting. Well, I didn't say it sounded pretty interesting. I read like the first paragraph on the synopsis and I was mainly captured by the cover. It's beautiful. Oh my god, I just scuffed it. It's beautiful though, right? Queen of Myth and Monsters. Oh, and it's an international edition. Adrian X Isolde. Is that X or is that like the Roman numerals? Because I don't really know Roman numerals. I don't know what X means. Is that like 10 maybe? I don't know. Anyway, Isolde, if I'm pronouncing that right, I hope so. Newly coronated queen has finally found a king worthy of her in the vampire Adrian. That's what hooked me. But their love for each other has cost Isolde her father and her homeland. With 2 opposing goddesses playing mortals and vampires against one another, Isolde is uncertain who her allies are in the vampire stronghold of Rebecca. Now, as politics in the Red Palace grow more underhanded, inexplicable monster attacks plague the villages, and a deadly crimson mist threatens all of Cordova. Isolde must trust in the bond she's formed with Adrian, even as she learns troubling information about his complicated past. It sounds so cool! Okay guys, this has been a chaotic energy video, but I hope you've enjoyed it. Let me know if you picked up any of these books, any of the new releases calling to you. Have you read any of these yet? I'd love to know. But for now, thank you for watching. This has been Jen signing off. I really didn't know where I was going with that. Okay, bye.